What's a name that seemingly disappeared from the web overnight? Octomom. Coney. Epic Mealtime. That, Affluenza. Kid who killed a few people, got off and then fled to Mexico with his mother. All I recall about him is that they were caught by ordering Pizza Hut, I think. Ray William Johnson. Tila Tequila. Slender Man. Especially after the 2014 stabbing. College Humor, and the old cracked website with silly articles. Oh, and Stumble Upon. Jeeves. Anybody remember the kid in Australia who had a crazy party that disrupted his whole neighborhood and then acted unbothered wearing his sunglasses on the news? 95% of Taco Bell's menu items. Seriously, what's going on? FPS Russia. Shane Dawson's career went south in a big way. Never really understood why he was popular to begin with. Left Shark. Matt Lauer, #1 highest paid man on TV. That one net neutrality guy. Lil Tay. Tom MySpace. Tobuscus. Dane Cook. What is a sign of a cry for help that isn't obvious to the average person? Lack of interest. Gamer all of a sudden no longer games? Gardener let his plants die? Social butterfly now hides in a cave? When someone is constantly busy so they don't give themselves time to think. Also, when someone gives up on a lot of basic things like cleaning or doing washing up because they can't think about anything except what's bothering them. Second-hand suicide, when they joke about being killed in an accident. This is usually because they feel there are people in life who need them and they don't want to commit suicide themselves. Reaching out and being overly nice to friends both close and casual with the hope that they will reciprocate and eventually ask them how they're doing, so that when they open up it's not about being a burden but because they were prompted to do so. Giving a lot of personal possessions away without wanting anything in return. The person stops caring about their appearance and neglects their hygiene and grooming, because in their mind they are thinking that it doesn't matter since no one likes them anyway, that they don't deserve to be clean or that it won't make their lives better, so why bother? When they start cutting off contact. That outgoing, happy person suddenly just isn't up to it, or maybe some other time, then something is wrong. Also, if they stopped caring about their physical appearance. It may seem a bit obvious, but when someone says that they don't see themselves living past a certain age, or acting surprised that they made it to a certain milestone in their lives. Going out of their way to talk, reach out to people when that's not the norm for them. Excessive drinking when they usually don't. Edit. Didn't expect this would blow up. But I pray everyone who this touches works on themselves. For my childhood trauma, I'm 30 and it still affects me. But with heavy therapy, doing the work that my therapist needs me to do to work through things, I'm living a stable life. If you haven't tried talking to someone, please just try. Even if it's not a therapist, find someone to talk to. Marked differences in behavior where the person becomes way more positive and energetic than normal. We tend to think of these sorts of changes as being good, but any sudden and large enough change in behavior is something you need to keep an eye on. This is especially true if they are going from a very negative pattern of thinking, behavior into an uber-positive one very quickly. Usually, those "now I feel like I can conquer the world" changes are the precursor to suicide attempts and the like. Sleeping all day and having no interest. No one cares, they just walk by or don't understand. Makes you feel very alone. I don't want someone to fix me, but I do want someone to show they care. Also, drinking a lot when you have never been a drinker. When someone has obviously been crying or tears up without apparent provocation, even in a very public setting, it can be a sign that they're in too much pain even to try masking it. I've also heard of severely depressed people who abruptly snap out of it and go perky, and that can be indicative of a person who was agonizing over whether to end things, who has now decided to do so. Making that decision, sadly, gives them peace and relief. Purposely avoiding sad and difficult topics. Sometimes when a person is constantly feeling like shit, the last thing they want to do is bring up more negativity when hanging out with people they enjoy being around. Oftentimes being with friends, family can be a brief escape from always feeling awful, and so bringing up negative topics can ruin this feeling of escape and make the depression feel never-ending and suffocating. Maybe they took weeks to tell you they failed a test or even dropped out of school. Maybe you randomly hear from someone else that their dog died. Maybe they always switch the radio station from the news to pop songs. Could be anything big or small, usually multiple things. Nah, I'm fine. Sudden drastic improvement in mood of a depressed person. It could be a sign they have a plan to commit suicide and feel better because they know it's gonna end soon. Damn. I'm just going through these comments, checking every single one off, just knowing I've been deeply depressed a long time. A reduction in food consumption. I've found when I've fallen down the hole and I just stop caring anymore, I don't eat anywhere near as much as I normally do. Instead of having the standard 3-4 meal things a day, I'll be lucky to convince myself to have 2, as I simply don't care anymore. Saying, "I'm sorry," for everything, or taking the blame for things that shouldn't even have a blame. Thank you so much for the silver award. I appreciate it. Less than 33. Also remember guys, my DMs are always open for literally anything. I loved waking up this morning to see the discussions going on. Thank you guys for my first popular Reddit response. Oversharing and lack of filter goes hand in hand with depression. Bad decisions, looking for short-term happiness with no regard for how it will damage their life in the long run. Getting a neck tattoo, buying a Mitsubishi, that sort of thing.